I've lost over 133 pounds using Mounjaro over the last 18 months. I've changed my entire life, and in this video I'm going to share with you guys all of the things that I bought to help me succeed in my journey. I will put all of the links below as well, so if you're ready, let's get into it. Alright, so if you're new here, welcome to the channel. As I said, I'm Joanna and I have lost 133 pounds just over in the last 18 months with the help of Mounjaro and a GLP-1 alongside significant diet and lifestyle changes. If you are already a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for being here. So I ran a little poll with my subscribers to find out if you guys wanted some advice or some help on the things that I use day to day to make me successful in my journey. And I think it's safe to say, even me objectively, I think I've been quite successful with it. After years and years of struggling with my weight since I was a young girl, I've finally been able to overcome this at 37 and I feel like I'm never ever going back. Now, the reason I decided to do this video is when I started, I had no idea about not just what I needed for success, but just about what I needed. There were not a lot of channels that were UK based that could link me directly to UK based products. I was looking a lot at American kind of influencers and YouTubers, so I just wanted to fill that little void. I've been asked a few questions in the comments as well about the products that I use, so I will pop the links to everything that I'm going to be talking about today down below. They are going to be Amazon affiliate links, so if you do use them, it will help out the channel a little bit. There's no obligation to use them though, and just be aware that sometimes Amazon does jack up the price through affiliate links. So if you see anything and it's completely, miles away from the price I'm going to tell you, don't use that link. I will also provide links to companies that I am not affiliated with because it's just so helpful and these products are so good. There's not a replica or not a replacement for them on Amazon that I could find that was good enough, and I want to make sure that with anything I talk about on this channel, certainly that I provide links for, that is genuine products that I use every single day that I think are the best and the most helpful. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into the first thing. Alright, so first up, if you're going to go on a diet and lose weight, you're going to need to figure out how to weigh yourself. That's the highest priority, okay? Now, I got several types of scales. I've talked about them a lot in my videos. My body composition scales are the ones that I end up in with. There are several types of body composition scales, from very, very expensive, over £200 scales, right down to the ones I'm going to show today actually. And I have had them all. I've bought the expensive scales. They're good, but these ones are the ones I use every day now. They are the ones I found the best, and I had all of the measurements that they give you, I had that taken with a private healthcare company as well, and they are very, very close except from one metric, which is visceral fat. But these will give you a good guide to not only your weight, but how your body is made up. So with Mounjaro, it's very important that we build muscle, make sure we're losing fat, make sure we're retaining as much muscle we can. That's why body composition is so important, not just with Mounjaro or GLP-1, but with any type of weight loss. So these are the Arbolief Smart Scales. I talk about these an awful lot and I value them so much because they give me that insight into my body makeup. They're very, very simple to use. They are Bluetooth linked to your phone. So I'll pop up here a little image of what the app looks like. So they're Bluetooth linked to your phone. I weigh myself once a week with the Arbolief scales, but you can weigh daily if you want. It tracks your body fat percentage, your muscle mass percentage, it gives you your BMI as well, water in your body, all of those important metrics. Now the last time I looked, I think they were about £30 on Amazon, which is a bargain for any kind of body composition scales. They're not expensive at all, especially compared to the £100, £200 ones. Unless you're doing some serious bodybuilding, I don't think you need anything like that. Something like this will set you up just right. So that's my scales. And then the other thing I would recommend using is the Arbolief tape measure, okay? So I use this every couple of months, and a good tip is just to start taking your measurements from the very start of your journey. During weight loss, we are going to have plateaus. Now I found when I was going through my plateaus, which do happen, especially at the start and messes with your mind, relying on my inches really helped because I could see the difference it was making in inches. Now I think I have lost over 100 inches from my entire body, something like that, and this has been a really helpful measure for me. Because this is Arbolief, the same as with the scales, so they're the same range, They both link up to your, they both link up to your phone in the same app, so you can track everything in the one place. So I really like that. So there we go. Here are the Arbelief scales and the Arbelief tape measure. Those are the first things you'll need. Alright, so next up we're going to talk about everything you need for your Mounjaro pen. Now this is very, very UK specific. In the United States you guys use single use pens. Here in the UK we use the quick pen. Now, is this glamorous? No. Is it necessary? Absolutely. So first up, I'm going to show you guys your alcohol wipes. So your supplier should provide you with alcohol wipes every time you order a new pen. However, I always have a box of about 100 wipes in the house. I just like to have them as a backup, and because I split my dose, I also need additional wipes. So I like to have these on hand just in case. It's completely a personal preference, totally up to you guys. I actually get these ones straight from my supplier, but I will link one that I found on Amazon that's quite similar below, but you can get these from any pharmacy or directly from your supplier, or using the link that I'll put below. Alright, so next we have our needles. Now, these are totally optional. I need them because I split my dose, but even before I started splitting my dose, I was very paranoid that I would do something wrong and I wouldn't have enough needles. So I went out and bought a pack of 100. Now these are just CarePoint insulin needles, there's 100 of them. These are the 4mm ones, I think. Yes, so they're the 4mm ones. You can get 4mm or 6mm ones. These are not from Amazon, but I did find another supplier that I got these from. You can get these from most pharmacies. So these are the ones that I use. Just handy to have, you know, just in case anything goes wrong. Alright, next up we have our insulin needles. Now these are specifically for the 5th dose. Now if you don't want to take the 5th dose, you absolutely don't need them. There are some pens that you used to be able to force the syringe plunger. However, the manufacturers changed the plunger in the pens so that it doesn't go right to the bottom. So you won't be able to use that in a lot of the pens. I've certainly found that anyway. What you will need then is a box of insulin needles. Now these are the ones that I got. Talk about overkill. How they look though is they are individually wrapped syringes. So you can see here how they look. And this is what the syringe looks like. Okay. Now these are 1mm, I think these are 1mm syringes. Yes, they are. Okay. I will try and find these exact ones and link them below. You do not want the syringes from Amazon for these. They are not individually wrapped. I think most of them are for use on animals, not on humans. So do not get your insulin needles from Amazon. I'll link below the ones that I got if I can find them though. They're not too expensive, and like I say, I mean, I have a pack of 100. These are going to do me until I'm about 50. So, and the last thing you will need, now this is a bit unfair because they used to come free with the pens, but they do not anymore, is a sharps box. Now, the sharps box is where all your needles go once you've used them, including your insulin syringes if you are taking the 5th dose. You fill this box up and then you can take it either to your local authority or to a pharmacy who will dispose of it for you. And this is where you put all of your empty needles. Now, this is what it looks like at the top. Be very careful not to close this lid properly. Now you can close it over just like that, so it stays closed. Do not shut it right down because it will stay closed and you will need to wrench it back open. I saw a few people in the comments who had done that. I done exactly the same thing when I started. So little tip, don't do that. I will link one from Amazon down below, but some suppliers might still send these out if you're first starting. Okay, and that's our pen essentials. So if you're anything like me, I travel quite a lot. And I was quite worried about taking my pen on holiday with me, especially at the start, because I didn't want to come off my pen when I was on holiday. I had no interest in that. So I didn't know where to start. And I must have bought about 1 million travel cases. From very, very expensive ones with digital temperatures on the front of them, all the way down to the very cheapest. And where I landed was on this kind of mid-range one. Now these are about, I think, 10 to 20 pounds, not very expensive. And this is what they look like inside. Okay, so each of these holds one pen and you can pop your needles in them. I've got some needles in here. Yep, so a needle in there. And your alcohol wipes. And you pair these with these gel packs. So these gel packs can be frozen, popped in the freezer and taken out, I think, about 40 minutes before you need them. Put in the case and then you just close it and zip it up, and then that goes with you. Now, this goes in your hand luggage. You don't put it into hold because obviously your pen could shatter. I have never had any problems when going through security with my pen, but I do usually take with me the box that it comes in just because that has my prescription on it. This will keep your pen cold for hours. I have flown 15-hour flights with this and my pen has been absolutely fine on the other side. I pop it in the fridge when I get to the hotel room, but this is what I use whenever I need to take it anywhere, and it keeps it nice and safe and chilled for me. Now the other thing, I only have one other thing that I see as a travel essential for being on this diet, and that is my travel clear protein. Now, if you've never heard of clear protein before, I hadn't heard of it before either. So instead of your typical protein shakes that are very thick and milkshakey, these are completely watery. So it's almost just like a water flavouring, but each of them has 20 grams of protein in them, and they're only about 85 calories, 80 to 85 calories, I think these ones are. Yeah, 88 calories these are. So these are the My Protein Clear ones. I find them really handy just to have with me, especially for like a travel day when I'm going on holiday and I still want to be trying to get my protein in, or in a day when I know I'm going to be busy and we're doing a lot of sightseeing. Not only do they get you your protein fix, they also make you feel fuller for the day. So I like to take these with me. Really low calorie, lots of protein, helps keep me on track when I'm travelling. Okay, so speaking of protein, let's talk about what I have for breakfast every morning. Okay, so every single day, if you've watched any of my vlogs, you'll know that I have a kind of protein water thing every single morning, and I have done that from the very, very start. At the start of my weight loss, it was quite difficult to get a lot of calories in. I'm sure a lot of you will have felt the same way because the suppression is so high. So to ensure you're getting some calories but also the right nutrients, clear protein is a really good way to go. Now, the My Protein ones I use for travelling, but when I'm at home, my favourite protein is the Protein Works sour apple. Yes, sour cherry and apple one. They're all really nice though, these ones. So these are the Protein one, Protein Works powder. You take about, I have about 25 grams every single morning, 85 calories, 20 grams of protein, really good. Would highly, highly recommend this. I buy this for myself every single month and I never ever go a morning without it. Now, to that, I always add my WellGuard collagen powder. This stuff, I love it. It's not for everybody. Some people don't like it because it goes a little bit cloudy in the water. Some people think it has a funny taste. For me, I buy this specifically because it is flavourless and I like to add it to my protein water so I never taste anything with it. Now, on Mounjaro, a lot of people report side effects such as hair loss, things like that. I've never experienced that myself, which could just be down to malnutrition or something, but I do think I've seen a difference since I started using the collagen, not just in my hair but in my skin and my nails as well. It's good just generally, this sort of stuff, as we get a little bit older. So I do 12 grams of this into my protein water every single morning. A tub like this usually does Steve and I about a month. So if you're taking it for yourself, it should do you maybe 2 months. That's 12 grams a day. Really, really good. The last thing I will talk about just with like protein and things like that is creatine. Now, I spoke a little bit about creatine. I only incorporated this into my diet in January. So I had been on Mounjaro since the May last year, and in January I started incorporating creatine. Now, there's lots of good studies around creatine for the additional health benefits. I won't go into them because I'm not a healthcare provider, obviously, but the main one for me is it really helps with muscle recovery. With creatine, just be a little bit careful. It can cause problems for some people if they have too much creatine in their body, so I would recommend getting some blood tests done ahead of taking it. It can also make your weight fluctuate on the scale. So what creatine does is it pushes water into your muscles to give you more muscle definition and help with muscle recovery, which is why I take it. But if you are at a stage in your journey where you're a little bit more sensitive to the scales, if you know what messes with your head, maybe leave this one out for now. But once you get to the stage where you're really trying to build that muscle, I would recommend it. I've definitely seen a difference when I take creatine versus when I don't. So yeah, that's creatine. And then the last protein powder, which is not an Amazon link, but I have to talk about it because I love it and I love this company. I'm not affiliated with them. This is just personal experience is Team RH Fat Cow Protein. Now, if you've seen a single vlog that I have done, I finish every single day with a high protein yogurt bowl dessert thing. The protein powder that I add to that is the Fat Cow one. Now this is the chocolate one and it smells so good. It smells so nice. I have the vanilla one and I have the strawberry one as well. They're not the cheapest, but I'll link them anyway in case you guys are interested. Absolutely fantastic when added to yogurts and desserts. I can speak from my own experience. I have also had this one and made protein hot chocolates in the winter, which is such a nice treat, and you don't feel guilty about it at all because you're getting plenty of protein in. So those are my essential sort of protein supplement things. So we're going to talk about hydration, right? On any weight loss journey, you need to make sure you're hydrated. It helps with your body flushing out any water it's retaining. Also on Mounjaro, it's really important that we are getting a high water intake, because the fact that we're not eating as much food means we're not getting any water from that food that we would usually get. So we need to make sure our body is nice and replenished. I haven't spoken about it too much in my vlogs because for me, it was always just a part of my life. But when I started taking Mounjaro, I became absolutely obsessed with different ways to get water into my diet. So I'm going to show you a couple of the things that I bought to really help. Now, I know everybody is obsessed with Stanleys, right? But they are so expensive. They are so expensive, and I heard you couldn't put them in the dishwasher. So that was just a no-go for me for day one. But what I got instead were these simple modern tumblers. I absolutely love these. I have one in 5 different colours, I think. They hold, I think, almost 2 litres of water, and I got the little ice moulds off of AliExpress for like a couple of pounds that fit right into the tube, so your water stays cold for hours and hours. I think it stays cold for at least, the ice in it stays unmelted for at least 24 hours for me, and they are dishwasher safe. So I absolutely love these. I have one every single day, and doing that helps me make sure I'm getting enough water into my system. Plus, like, they look really pretty, so sometimes we just like nice things. Now, alongside that, I became really obsessed with Simple Moderns. You don't need to get these, you can get any tumbler you want. But this size of Simple Modern is very good for my morning protein shake. So I have this in 3 different colours. This is I think this is the aquamarine one or something, but this is 750 litres of water. So again, for me, it's the perfect size for my clear protein, because it dilutes it just enough, but it's still got enough flavour. I don't have any of that lumpiness or anything like that in them. So very, very good. Would recommend these. I enjoy them every single morning. I don't know why, I just do. Now, the only other thing with hydration that I want to talk about is my Elementi electrolytes. Now, these are not the cheapest electrolytes, you can get cheaper, but I like them because they have the most amount of sodium, but they also have magnesium and potassium as well. They just look like little sachets, so this is what they look like. Now, I don't have one every day. I have one on the days when I go to the gym or that I know I'm going to be sweating a lot. But when I first started, like, I heard that fatigue was quite a big thing. I think I got a little bit of fatigue, but not too much, so it can't have been that bad. I can't remember it. But I know that electrolytes can help with fatigue. They can also help with muscle recovery. So if you are struggling a little bit with that, even if you didn't want to do the Elementi ones, just try a cheaper electrolyte that you can get on Amazon, alright? These are, word of warning, if you do try them, they are very, very salty. They are very salty. It is an acquired taste. I love them, particularly the watermelon salt. That is my favourite one. But it might not be to everybody's taste. You can also just do half a sachet if you want, but I mean, I really like them, especially on my gym days. So yeah, would recommend. And that's everything for hydration. Totally forgot to mention one of the most important things, a good set of kitchen skills. So day to day in my vlogs, if any of you have seen them, you'll know that I use my Team RH skills. There's no real reason for using Team RH, I just personally really like them, and before I used them I actually just used these digital kitchen scales. They're not expensive, they're off Amazon, they come with a little bowl thing on the top of them that's good for measuring rices and pastas and stuff, but if you're starting this journey, I can only speak from my own experience, but I need to measure my food. Otherwise I will always subconsciously overestimate what I'm eating. So for me, a general rule is, if it goes in my mouth, it is going on these scales first. So get yourself a nice set of kitchen scales. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to talk about supplements. Now, supplements seems to be a huge part of the Mounjaro community. I don't know how on board I am with that, because I got very invested in supplements when I started. I thought I had to be taking everything. But I generally don't think you need that now, and it's not what I need anyway. So I'm going to talk to you just about 4 supplements that really helped me at the start and some that I'm still taking now. So one of the main concerns with Mounjaro is gut motility, okay? The reason everything slows down in terms of going to the bathroom is because we're not getting enough fibre into our diet. Fibre generally is very, very hard to get into your diet. I've had to go through quite a long process of figuring out what fibrous foods are going to help me. Tip for nothing, raspberries. Raspberries are the best foods for fibre and cost very few calories. But when I first started, I didn't want to put my calories up. I was scared of eating additional food. So what I did was I got a couple of supplements. Now, one of the supplements actually recommended to me by my supplier was fibre gel. These come in little sachets and you can take one every single morning. They are very, very easy on your gut, so you won't end up with cramping in it. You don't want to be taking laxatives and stuff like that. You just don't want to do that. It's painful and horrible and not a route you want to go down if you can avoid it. Little fibre gel supplement. They taste like orange. They are actually very, very nice and tasty. They don't cost too much. I think they come in a pack of 2, and they can help things just move along, especially at the start if you're having lots of gut problems. In addition to that, I actually added in an additional fibre boost. So this is approved by the NHS as well. You can take that if you're finding things are really, really slowing down, you're struggling to get your fibre in. A word of warning though, this is disgusting. It is not nice. I had to hold my nose whenever I took it, but it does the job. It is much gentler than a laxative, and yeah, it'll get things sorted for you. Now on top of that, I take a few other supplements, but in terms of Mounjaro related, this is a supplement that I would recommend. So first of all, I take a vitamin D supplement. This is really, really useful, especially if you live in the UK. It is miserable all the time. I wanted to start taking vitamin D supplements a long time ago, but when I started on Mounjaro, I really got invested in it because I knew that getting less nutrition into my body might weaken my immune system, and vitamin D works with our immune system. I get these are the Better Vits ones, and it's the Better Vits with K2. They are not the cheapest on the market. There are cheaper vitamin D supplements, but I think when it comes to vitamins, I personally would rather take less supplements, but better quality supplements, if you know. So these are the ones that I take every day, 2 a day in the morning. And then the other supplement that I take that is relevant for Mounjaro is a magnesium supplement. So I've had very expensive magnesium supplements. This one is kind of mid-range. It's a Schwartz one. So I'll link it below. Now, magnesium helps with your gut issues, but it also really helps with sleep, and it helps with muscle recovery. So I find this does help, particularly with my sleep. It does help me at night. You can take it in the morning as well because it also helps with focus. Magnesium is a really underserved micronutrient within our bodies. So I think probably most people need to take a supplement, but especially if you're on Mounjaro, it can really help with quite a few of the issues it causes. And that's all the supplements. So that's it. That's my full list of Mounjaro must-haves, and I really wish someone had handed me this list when I started. It would save me a lot of time and a lot of money and mistakes. But hopefully this helps you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have stayed this long and you're not already subscribed, join our little jet lag and gym life community. I am loving seeing everybody's comments and everybody's participation, and what we're building here makes me very happy and excited. The links to everything that I've spoken about are below, and I will also add in the rough pricing that it should be, just in case the price gets jacked up. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you do use any of them, let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!